maybe. So try this challenge. Go to your local grocery store and pick out a loaf of bread. It can be white, whole wheat, or 9 grain. Check out the list of ingredients. It's likely that you'll find this ingredient listed: high fructose corn syrup. What's that? It's sugar. Consumers may not be aware that sugar is in many forms, such as a loaf of bread. So, how can you? Sorry about that. Um, so, what I was saying is, consumers may not be aware that sugar is in many forms, such as a loaf of bread. So, how can you be a sugar sleuth? Start reading the labels to find out sugar lurking in soft drinks and processed food. Okay. So, sipping sugar. High fructose corn syrup is one type of sweetener made from, you guessed it, corn. In fact, high fructose corn syrup is the most common sweetener in the American diet. Wander to the supermarket and you'll likely find high fructose corn syrup listed as an ingredient on a huge variety of foods and drinks. It's in soft drinks, fruit drinks, salad dressings, ketchup, cookies, yogurt, bread, pickles. The list goes on and on. Sugar is often hid behind unfamiliar names. When you're checking food labels, look for the suffix OSE in the ingredient list. That generally means sugar. There are currently no official recommendations on how much sugar we should or should not eat, but generally a person who consumes a healthy diet of 2,000 calories a day should limit sugar to about 10 teaspoons per day. You can hit that limit by drinking a single can of cola. For many people, sipping soft drinks or other sugary drinks is an occasional treat instead of a daily beverage, an easy way to reduce sugar and calories. Americans drink a lot of sugary beverages. On average, Americans drink more than 600 12-ounce servings of soft drinks every year, according to the National Soft Drink Association. Guys in their teens and 20s drink the most, an average of almost 2 quarts or 64 ounces per day. So it says process this. The foods that tend to have the most added sugar is processed food, which are manufactured to last a long time on the shelf. They include ingredients not only to help them last, but for also to taste good. High fructose corn syrup, for example, helps food have a long shelf life and taste sweet. Processed foods tend to be foods you buy in a box, a bag, or bottle, or other container. They have fewer nutrients and more calories than whole foods. Many processed foods are labeled low fat, but check the labels. In order to make a low fat product taste good, the manufacturers may add sugar and place fats that are taken away. So then it says sugar sleuthing. By now, you may think you should avoid sugar and processed food altogether. Not so fast. Many processed foods are good for you, even if they do have added sugar. Everything in moderation is really the goal, said Marcy Schneider, a pediatrician, member of the American Academy of Pediatrics Committee on Nutrition. The healthier the food that you choose, the better. When possible, try to pick whole foods. Whole foods are fresh foods with few or no added ingredients. They maintain most of the original nutrients, so they are more nutritious than most processed foods. Whole foods include fresh fruits, vegetables, meats, eggs, beans, nuts, seeds, and some dairy products. If you do choose processed food, read the labels so you know what you're eating. In the case of a loaf of bread, the best choice of good nutrition is whole grain loaf that is high in fiber. Before you choose, compare nutrition labels for whole grain and a white loaf of bread. Which has more fiber, which has more sugar? Thirsty? You might be in the mood for a soft drink or an energy drink. That's okay if your other food choices throughout the day have been fairly nutritious. But if you drink soft drinks, consider options. Is making a choice of beverage. Think, will it give me more than just calories, said Susan Klein, nutrition head field specialist with Iowa State University Extension in Des Moines. Consider nutrients and other health benefits, such as the hydration you get from water. Milk, for instance, is a wonderful source of calcium, says Klein. Bottom line, you don't have to avoid sugar altogether. Just be aware where sugar lurks and how much you're taking in. Once you know how to look for added sugars, you can become a super sleuth when it comes to healthy eating. That says, how corny? Corn is a top crop grown in the United States because there's so much corn available. High fructose corn syrup is relatively inexpensive to manufacturers to use. High fructose corn syrup is a liquid, so it can be an easy ingredient for food manufacturers to work with. Corn sweeteners are only one type of common sugar. Other sugars are made from sugarcane, sugar beets, or honey. Our bodies can't tell the difference between sugar that comes from corn or sugar that comes from honey or cane or beet, explained Susan B. Klein. She's a nutrition and health field specialist at the Iowa State University Extension. The body takes in sugars in whatever form they come, whether it's lactose from milk or fructose from fruit, and converts it into glucose, which we use for energy. So now we're down to sugar words. Check your ingredient labels. All these words mean sugar in a different form. So it's corn syrup, dextrose, fructose, fruit juice concentrate, glucose, high fructose corn syrup, honey, lactose, maltose, maple syrup, molasses, sucrose. Remember, a lot of those end in the OSE, and that's usually a pretty good indication. If the word ends in OSE, it usually means sugar. So it says, how many teaspoons of sugar are in common foods? Here's what we discovered by looking at label at a grocery store. So cola has 10 teaspoons of sugar, apple juice 7, milk 3, fruited yogurt 10, vanilla yogurt 7, plain yogurt 3. Oatmeal bar is 4, instant oatmeal is 4, and plain oatmeal is only 1/4 of a cup of sugar. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the questions. So it says, what is corn syrup? From reading that article, it's a kind of sugar, C. How does the author describe processed foods? So it would be B. Processed foods can be bought in a box, bag, bottle, or other container. And that basically processed foods, what the article talked about, add sugar because a lot of times they stay on the shelf for a while and they take out other things and the sugar makes them taste good. So number 3 says, read these sentences from the text. The foods that tend to have the most added sugars are processed food, which are manufactured to last a long time on the shelf. Processed foods tend to be foods you can buy in a box, bag, or bottle, or other container. They have fewer nutrients and more calories than whole foods. Based on this evidence, what conclusion can you draw from whole foods? Whole foods are better for you than processed foods. So that sounds like a pretty good one. Processed foods are often better than whole foods. Whole foods and processed foods are both healthy. Whole foods and processed foods are both unhealthy. So we're going to go to that first one. Whole foods are better than processed foods. Okay. What is one example of processed foods described in this text? Vegetables, seeds, bread, or eggs? Well, if we look up here, it said it usually comes in, what does it say? Usually comes in a bag, bottle, or other container. So if you look at this, vegetables usually don't come in a bag. Seeds sometimes come in a bag. Bread always comes in a bag, and eggs come in a carton. So processed food, the best example would be bread, okay? And what is the main idea of this text? Eating only processed foods and drinks with added sugars every day can help you stay healthy. Nah, probably not. Eating only whole foods and unprocessed drinks with no sugar is the only way to stay healthy. Maybe. Ignoring how much sugar in the foods and drink consumed can help you stay healthy. That's definitely not it. And being aware of how much sugar is in the food and drinks you consume can help you stay healthy. That's probably the best one would be D. Because you want to be aware of how much sugar is in your diet. Okay. So 6 says, read the sentence from the text. Be aware where sugar lurks and how much you're taking in. Once you know to look for added sugars, you become a super sleuth when it comes to healthy eating. Why might the author address the reader directly as you and the expert? To encourage readers to follow his or her advice and look for added sugars, to scold readers for not being aware of sugar lurks, to explain to readers that sugar is not easy to find, to highlight the author's own awareness where sugar lurks. I think it's probably A, to encourage readers to follow advice and look for added sugars, because she's speaking to us or him, I think, whoever the author is. It's just trying to encourage you to kind of be on the lookout for sugar, okay? 7, choose the answer that best completes the sentence. Sugars often hide behind unfamiliar names. When you're checking food labels, look for blank in the ingredient list. It generally means sugar. And I talked about that earlier, the suffix OSE. A lot of times it's not going to say sugar, it's going to come under a different name. And we looked at that list, a lot of those, and I'll go back to that list. Right here, sucrose, maltose, lactose, fructose, dextrose, all those end in OSE. So if you're looking basically on a label, if you see anything with OSE in it, the suffix, that means it's going to generally have sugar in it. So look for that suffix OSE. According to the text, a healthy diet is one of about 2,000 calories a day. How much sugar should a person who consumes a healthy diet have per day? So let's go back to the passage. And I'm going to find that for you. So right up here, a person who consumes a healthy diet of 2,000 calories a day should limit sugar to about 10 teaspoons a day. So that answer would be 10 teaspoons a day. That's what basically we're shooting for, is 10 teaspoons a day. Okay. And number 9, read these sentences from the text. You don't have to avoid sugar altogether. Just be aware sugar lurks and how much you're taking in. Once you know to look for added sugars, you can become a super when it comes to eating healthy. The word lurk means to hide. Why might the author use lurk when talking about sugars in a passage? You guys, that would be, it's just a way of marketing. Because if everything, some people, if they were, it's almost a way advertisers can fool us a little bit. Because it flat out said sugar, some people would never eat some of that food. So it's just a way of basically being able for whoever makes the food to get sugar in there without us knowing it. It seems kind of tricky, but that's why this article gave you all those different names for sugar, okay? And number 10, why might reading labels be important to your health? Well, basically, just so you know what's in each food that you eat, I think it's important for you to stay healthy, to know exactly, kind of what's in the food you're eating. When you go to a restaurant, you're really not going to know, but when you shop for yourself, you can always read the labels and, try to, limit to 2,000 calories. And like this article said, you only want to have about 10 teaspoons of sugar a day. So, reading labels is important because it can kind of let you know really what's in the food, and you kind of monitor your diet, and it really improves your health. Okay, so that's it for reading for today, you guys. Hopefully you got something out of this. This article is posted in the reading, so if you want to go back and read it again. And also one thing I wanted to show you too, you guys, is what you can always do too is go up here to this little play button. You hit this, and the article will play itself. So you want to listen to it that way, you can do it too. So at the top, you can always hit that play button, just that little arrow, and this article will play for you too. So just a little tip. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.